Okay, here's the top of the module, and I've obviously jumped ahead here. I've laid out where I want my track and secured the road bed. I used a template for number 8 right-hand turnouts, and gives me a rough idea. I know I've got to do some more fine-tuning of the edge of the road bed once I get the turnouts. They're not available at my local hobby store yet. And I've got a rough layout of how I want the terrain elevations to be. So I have glued down some of these on this corner here, and the green one along the back edge over there. Those are secured. But the rest of these are just sitting here in place, give me a rough idea. And so now I'm going to start gluing them. And what I'm using, some talked about liquid nails, but I think it's kind of thick stuff, so I'm using this clear Power Grab, Instant Grab, heavy duty exterior construction adhesive. And it says that it is good for a variety of things: lumber, metals, drywall, ceramic, and foam board. So that's why I've chosen this. I've also found that I can smooth this out with a putty knife and have a fairly thin layer, and I'm hoping that that will make it much easier to get rid of boundaries between pieces of rigid foam board. So I'm going to start at the far end and take the pieces off. I have cut a number of 1-inch thick pieces out of 2-inch rigid foam board. It was like this. I sliced off 1 inch. I sliced off a number of pieces that are 1/2 inch. I did these on my table saw out in the shop. Could make any thickness I want to change elevations, so I'm going to go from 6 to 3 to 1 to 1/2. I'm thinking eventually I'm going to have a roadway coming across to this work area. I'll get into what's going on here later, but right now this is the part that I'm working on securing. So actually I think I'm going to start at this end and glue these pieces down. So I'll put a small amount of adhesive on here. Take my putty knife, kind of butter this out. And stick this in. Wiggle it a little bit. Take the next one out. And I may run out of mastic here in a little bit. And I'm just planning on getting this to the rough contours, elevations, and then once this is secured, then I'll start cutting, rasping, sanding to get back to clearances I need from the track and so forth. I'm also thinking that I'll ultimately be covering this foam board with plaster cloth. And that way, any variations that I don't want to take the time to rasp out and make a mess, I can simply cover with plaster cloth and make my changes in elevation a little more gentle and so forth. I am going to leave some vertical transitions. I've got some latex rock molds and lightweight hydrocal. And I will put some rock faces on these vertical edges. I don't know if you can tell, but this gets it down pretty tight. There's not much of a gap or boundary between the two sets of foam board there. Of course, the next question is, will this hold? But these over here have held up very nicely. Whoops. Get ahead of myself here. I also like the fact that this is going to dry clear, so I won't see variations in color. But I'm thinking through being thin, easier to hide it. Alright, I think you get the idea. So I'll stop the video here. And I'll pick up a little later.